Welcome to How to Read Your RealCare Report. When baby has been returned from a simulation and has sent its data into the control center, you may be looking at the report and wondering, what exactly is this telling me? Here we have a sample report. The top portion of the report has all of our programmed information. We see at the top here, the class period that we set up the report. We have the student's name, and we have the IDs that were assigned. These are the IDs that the student wears around their wrist. We have also the baby ID, the factory name, or the permanent name that you assigned, along with the gender and ethnicity if you had set that up as well. Here we have the date and time that you programmed the baby to start, along with the date and time you programmed the baby to turn off. We have the schedule order, and if you have assigned any quiet times, they would show up here. Now in the middle of the page, we have what's called our performance overview box. Top left corner of the box, we have our total days, hours, and minutes of the simulation time. This box here is our proper care box. It shows us the care events, how many care events were requested, and how many of those events the student properly responded to. So we see here that the baby requested 3 rocking events, and the student only responded properly to 2 of them, giving us a percentage of 67%. Baby requested 16 diaper events. Student properly responded to all 16. There were 10 burping events. Student properly responded to all 10. Baby requested 17 feeding events, and the student properly responded to 14 of them. So we have a total here of 46 requested care events. The student properly responded to 42 events, giving us a proper care percentage of 91%. Now, underneath this box, it tells us the total number of times that ID 1 was used and the total number of times ID 2 was used. Now, if you notice here, the baby responded to the student ID 51 times, but the baby only requested 46 care events. Baby responds to the ID whether it is crying for a care event, a fussy event, or a mishandle event. So the surplus of IDs that we see come from either fussy events or mishandle events. We want to see the total number of times the ID was recognized to be either greater to or equal to the total number of requested care events. So since the baby requested only 46 care events and it responded to the ID 51 times, that tells us we have an attentive student. The right-hand side of the box, first we see it cried a total of 30 minutes for the entire 2 days of operation. And we have the mishandle events and the points taken off for each event. As we see, there were no shaken babies, wrong positions, or rough handlings, but there were 4 head support events for a total of 12 points taken off. The control center defaults to 3 points taken off per head support, wrong position, or rough handling, and minus 15 points for every shaken baby. Since there were only head supports, we have a total of 12 points taken off of the 91% here to give us a performance overview of 79%. Scroll down a bit more, and we have our simulation details. Shows us each day of the operation, when the baby started, when it stopped, and the dates and times of any quiet times and missed care events and missed handle events. The detail report does not show you when they properly care for an event. So we see here on Friday, simulation started at 5 o'clock. At 8:06, we had a missed feeding. And at 8:07, we have a head support. Anytime the baby is mishandled during a care event, that mishandle event cancels the care event. So we see here at 8:06, the baby requested a feeding event. And a minute into the feeding event, there was a head support. That head support canceled this feeding event. It could have been that the student, as they were feeding the baby, accidentally let the head go back, or maybe they picked up the baby too quickly, or when they were feeding the baby, maybe they were accidentally pushing the bottle against the lips. And by pushing the bottle, they may have accidentally pushed that head back too far to where it hit a head support. So on Saturday, we see that there was a 1:15 a.m. missed feeding and an 11:11 a.m. missed feeding. No mishandle events recorded. Students have 2 minutes in which to get their ID to the baby before it is recorded as a missed, and then an additional 2 minutes to figure out what the baby needs. So what we have here is that it's 1:15 in the morning, baby's crying for care. It's possible that it took the student longer than 2 minutes to actually wake up, or in their drowsy state, it took them longer than 2 minutes to figure out what baby required. And the same could be said over here at the 11:11 a.m. missed feeding. Baby was crying for care. Maybe they were too far away from the baby at the time. Whatever situation may have occurred where the students took them longer than 2 minutes to respond to the baby. And on Sunday, 10:13 missed rock with a matching 10:13 head support. So during the rocking event, the head was accidentally dropped back. And then 2 additional head supports at the remainder of the simulation and a 5 o'clock stop time. You have the ability to put comments into the report if you so choose to do. RealCare 3 babies have a second page which detail the clothing, temperature, and car seat during the entire simulation. The top part right here graphs the ambient temperature that the baby had been throughout the simulation. If left in hot or cold environment over time, it will graph into the hot or the cold area here. But for this example, baby had only been within regular temperature range. The next part of the graph has the clothing along with the times that baby was wearing the specific articles of clothing. You can see what time the baby has the items on, as you can be instructing the students that you expect to see a sleeper in the nighttime, what articles of clothing you expect to see during the daytime, whether it's the outfit top and bottom, the single suit, or if it's like winter time, you would expect the baby to be in the outerwear when it's exposed to cold temperatures. You can also use the clothing data in tandem with the temperature data to see if they are dressed appropriately for the environmental conditions. The next line down here is the car seat detection reporting. This area is filled in solid when the baby is in the car seat. Instructors set the expectations and decide what an acceptable amount of time in the car seat is. Scrolling further down the report, we have the details of each day of the simulation, the high and low temperature of each day, the time in and out of the safe temperature range, maximum time between clothing, and the amount of time in the car seat carrier. So for example, on day 2 here, in a 24-hour period, the baby was in the car seat for 20 hours, which indicates that the baby was not really in the student's arms very often throughout the simulation. After you've had a chance to look at the report, you are now free to print the report and explain the results to the student.